Hey everybody, this is Jo. I'm here in my Houston, Texas garden. I'm in zone 9A and I'm going to show you around my butterfly garden. I have been gone for a week, so it's a little bit weedy. This is a black swallowtail butterfly and he is on some parsley, and he kind of looks like maybe he's ready to make a chrysalis, but this would be a bad choice to make it on because it's a soft thing. But anyway, also there have been there is a lot of, if you look at the garden, there is a lot of butterfly news. I'm going to show you the butterfly news first. That is Miss Doubtfire, and behind her is another neighbor kitty. His name is Ghost, and he is adorable. Hey buddy. Hi bud. So the first thing I'm going to show you is that we have two chrysalises that I put out because we were going to be out of town, and I needed them to be able to emerge while we were gone and not inside an enclosure. So this is a black swallowtail butterfly, and the green one is a pipevine swallowtail butterfly. So we're excited about that. But my giant parsley all turned yellow while I was gone, and so I spent like 4 hours clipping off all the parts that were still nice, which you can see, and inspecting every single piece, for swallowtail butterfly caterpillars. And you can see, look how many there are. It's crazy. So I stopped counting, but I think, and this thing is full. I must have between 15 and 20 of them, and I'm super, super happy to have them. And then I saved all these. If there's a little egg or a little bitty caterpillar in these that I missed, it'll get big enough and I'll find him, and then I can protect him. He's probably pretty well protected just up on the patio away from wasps and lizards. So hopefully we'll maybe find a few more in there. Well, and there's my buddy, Miss Doubtfire. Hi, baby. She's giving me a look. Well, I've been gone for a week, and I came back to a lot of things that needed to get clipped down or removed or deadheaded. Now, of course, here we are in the Houston Medical Center. So, helicopter. I'm 2 minutes and 43 seconds in. I got a helicopter on the video. It's the way it is in the middle of the city. Anyway, so I decided that I was kind of done, and I do this sometimes, like I was done with the blue bonnet. So they're not, all the blue bonnets are along the edge. Now I have a cleaner edge. All the blue bonnets that were in the succulent theater, and there was a red poppy in here, everything's gone to seed, or I'm ready to, I have enough seeds that I went ahead and pulled everything up. You can see, oh, there's Ghost. This whole bucket is full of blue bonnets, and most of the seeds, I'd say 70% of the seeds in there are ready, they're ripe. And so I'm gonna let them kind of dry in there, and then I will sort of pop them out of their seeds and get them ready for next year, save them for next year. Well, let me start back over. I was so excited about the butterflies, and I thought, I think I ought to start back over here, because I've got some really pretty things going on over here. Look at this iris. I do not do well with this kind of iris, but this one is so happy. And I even moved it, and it still bloomed this year. I moved it last year in the fall. So I'm super happy about that. So all the parsley was gone here, so this big empty space I'm not sure what I'm going to do with, but then all of this is fennel, and it's really beautiful. It's interesting, the black swallowtail butterflies have laid, I would say, 99.9% of their eggs on parsley flowers and almost none on the fennel. But they're going to get stuck with fennel. If I run out of parsley, they're going to get stuck with some fennel flowers. Here's my wackadoo zucchini plant, and I did not take one out. That's 2 plants. I just couldn't do it. They both ended up so pretty. I just couldn't take it. So Okay, a couple of people, this is my favorite zinnia. A couple of people wondered if this was Blackfoot daisy, and I do not think it is. I have never bought Blackfoot daisy for this garden. This was marked as a zinnia several years ago, and then the ones that are identical down there that I bought this year had a zinnia tag in it. And I have tried Blackfoot daisy in my last Houston garden, and I think it just rains too much. I think Blackfoot daisy is probably really good in Austin, but it's so wet here that it just is very unhappy. And so that's my guess as to why it won't grow here. But this is definitely a zinnia. I'm thrilled that it looks just like a Blackfoot daisy because I love them. I would rather have a native plant, but this is as close as I get. So I've got these incredible cone flowers going on. Look at this. They're huge, 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 and tall, tall, tall. That's got to be almost shoulder height for me. And I'm really happy about these. They're such vigorous plants. And then I've got all these little kind of pitiful little plants, and I don't know, I guess they're just different varieties. So anyway, there you have that. I don't know why I'm so successful with some and some I'm not. Okay, this is the first daylily. I think it's the first daylily. This is called Paul Voth. Maybe I've seen one other one, but I came home to a couple blooming. Look how gorgeous that is, and that is the color I'm adding this year. And this one really came out. Now I've got this this cosmos called Rubenza, which starts out. You can see the bud starts out that color, but then it fades to kind of this brownish, I don't know, I'm not in love with the color it fades to, so I've been kind of deadheading them, but I left those because I wanted you to see the weirdness. I've got some, finally, my zinnias, my big zinnias seem to be coming out, but of course some of them are looking orange, which is typical of a garden that doesn't want orange, is that everything comes up orange. Now I wanted to report, I talked about, I have a whole little video on salvias, and this is that Salvia Amonte. Now I realize that right back there, you probably can't see it, but I'll try to go around. I also thought was Salvia Amonte, and it is a much deeper pink than this. But after some rain, it rained about 5 inches last week, and a whole bunch, you can see the ground, all of this turned yellow and dropped its leaves. And I almost cut it back. It looked so bad. And then I went out of town, I came back and all the yellow had dropped down. But it's beautiful, but I'm not impressed with the form of the plant itself. So I don't know if I'll keep it. So anyway, I just wanted to report back that yes, it's beautiful, but the plant itself got ratty really fast. And probably before I go on vacation this summer. Well, I cut everything down to a Chelsea chop before I go on vacation. So I'll probably cut that almost to the ground so that when I come back, 2 weeks later, it'll be pretty again. I'm eagerly awaiting my beautiful buddleia there to finally put on some flowers. I see like the tiniest buds. So I'm ready. I'm so ready. I've got this Agastache Tutti Frutti that's it's filling in, looking pretty, and it's gonna look really pretty and floaty with this carrot that I'm hoping, it's looking really good. It's got lots of new growth on it, so I'm hoping that carrot will last me a little while longer. And then the other thing I'm trying to decide, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I get just kind of tired of something that gets scraggly, case in point, this salvia over here. But these cleomes, they get this long, they just keep blooming and blooming and blooming. And every one of these, oh my goodness, I'm gonna show you, they're popping out already. Every one of these pods has 10 million jillion seeds. And there's only so many you really want in your yard. And so I think about pulling it out, and I think about pulling this big cleome here out that's so big, but it's looking kind of scruffy, getting a little bit yellow. So I don't know about y'all, but there are times when I'm like, okay, I'm done with that flower. If it's if it's an annual or wildflower, I'm like, I'm done with that, and I want to pull it out. And so I may do that. Now, let's see. I can show you what else is happening. I have put an iris just from the yard in that pot. It's an iris I know will grow in water. And so I'm hoping, you can see my little rig, I'll hold it up, and I'm hoping that it will take root in there because I don't want to have to take that gigantic heavy pot out. So I'm doing a little workaround. Okay, y'all. Now I'm only growing one dahlia, but look at that, you guys. Isn't that amazing? I'm so thrilled with that. I'm so happy with that. And my little squatty buddleia really sort of recovered really well from getting dug up when it was hot, and it's super pretty. Oh, now I wanted to show you, this is the same cosmos called rubenza as the one over there. This gets more sun than the one I just showed you. But you know, when I'm standing out, when I'm looking out here from the kitchen, they're faded now, but they look like single dahlias. They are so big. Look how big that is. And they stand up in a particular way that from afar, they feel like a dahlia, like a single dahlia flower. And I think now they're much taller. I thought they were going to be 24 inches. They're probably 40 inches tall. So I will move them further back. I thought they would be short right here. But I think I will grow those again, even though they fade to kind of a weird color. I like when they're first out, I really like the way they look. And so I recommend those very highly. And I've got that Stokes aster still going. And it's, you know, got so much rain and it still looks good. And all my little salvias, but oh, look at the little pink skull cap. Isn't that darling? I just love it. I think it's doing so well. And then these two giant plants, I wish I knew the variety. I might be able to find this variety, the tag or a note I wrote to myself for this one. I don't know what variety that is, but they're just the most beautiful, beautiful cone flowers and so big. And so I'm super impressed with those. Now my little plan, oh, here's another zucchini I've got in the ground. And of course that's two because I couldn't bear to pull one out because they both looked good. And my gomphrena in a pot is really helping this space. And then lots of zinnias have come out. And then of course, again, back there, orange, typical gardening. Those zinnia packets, I feel like they lead me astray. I love this combination of the Peter's Purple bee balm, Monarda, and that's a carrot, and then the big blue salvia. And it would be perfect if that one orange flower, you see why I don't like them? Is as it draws the eye. Like you see all this beautiful, harmonious, and then it's like purple. So that's why I want it to be this harmonious looking garden without any like super bright thing or something that's out of, I like super bright, but out of the color palette because it draws the eye and sort of is jarring. Okay, this is what happened while I was gone. Look at this liatris. Oh my gosh, isn't it fantastic? It's so fabulous and floaty, and I love the little thin little leaves, and I can't believe how good that looks. I don't know how long it will bloom. If anybody grows these and can tell me how long that will bloom, let me know. And then Gigantor, the carrot, just look how big that is. I'm just thrilled with it. Just bonkers. So much fun. And then I did put in, I just planted today this little Tutti Frutti agastache. I just sprinkled them in because I'm going to be missing that purple. And so it's the same color here, just sort of along. And then, ooh, okay. So all the Ami I've been growing, there's one called Dara that is pink. And finally, this is Dara. It has a little bit different leaf. It looks like parsley, and look, I'm gonna have a pink one. I'm so thrilled. I think that's what that is. I've got a tag, it says it's Dara. We'll find out. And oh, the pink cactus zinnia. That's my favorite zinnia, I think. Favorite pink one anyway, favorite big one. A scabiosa that you've got a, you can see how long I've been gone. I'll need deadheading so bad. And then this is the Rockwall sesquicentennial, which is so pretty. Oh, it's kind of ratty. I'm showing you a ratty one from while I was gone. And another, that's another Ammi coming up there. And there's that agastache. And I really like, these are all self-sown little cosmos in there. And I love this combination. I had this last year of a cosmos, the Ammi, and then these beautiful little pink roses. And I love that combo. Oh, I'm gonna give you an update on this. This is that little knotweed, that little cute pink stuff, and it seeds everywhere. And I am going to say, don't get this. It is adorable and it grows great. It's a ground cover, it blooms, the bees like it, but it is so invasive that I think about even just pulling all this out. It comes up absolutely everywhere and spreads really quickly, and I do not recommend it. I think I don't even know where I would put it that I felt like it was safe, because it just wanders and seeds, and I'll find it 20 feet from where I planted it. And so I recommend just don't do it. It's so pretty, and I don't know, I may leave it, but it's become a problem in the yard. This is that awesome, really big penta, and I love the hot pink, and then I've got the pale pink going over there, and the Gulf Coast penstemon going strong. So pretty and delicate. Look at those little flowers. So sweet. And I've got a monarda down here that I look forward to meeting. It has yet to come out. Oh, look, you're getting to see all the kitties. There's Tuxedo Joe up on the patio. Everybody's coming for dinner. Of course, the Amistad salvia, looking fantastic still. And my pretty little Texas redbud. And I do still like this little combo. Well, these are kind of pooping out. This is that Salvia uliginosa, and I do like that together with that pink. I think that's real nice. And my blue mist flower, this is a native Texas, has finally bloomed, and butterflies really like that, and it spreads really well. It has not become invasive for me. I think it can really spread pretty quickly. And then I'm going to give you the tomato report. You guys, the tomatoes that I'm growing on purpose are, half dead, hot mess, look terrible. But look at this. These are the self-seeded. These were in my compost and came up in the pot. And there are tomato plants with tomatoes on them all over the yard. It's crazy. It's crazy, y'all. This oak leaf hydrangea is so, so pretty. And I'm really liking this. The white euphorbia, the white hydrangea, and this white caladium with just a little bit of sort of maroon speckle on it. And I really am liking that. Just sort of a lot of white back here. It is, this is pretty shady back here. And so I like having something that is a little sparkly. You can kind of see it. Now I noticed back on my American Beautyberry, we're just starting to get a little bit, those must be the flowers. And they're, the flowers are not really anything to write home about, but it's the berries that we're interested in. This is that columbine. It has not bloomed. Something makes me wonder if it doesn't have enough sun to bloom. And then, okay, you guys, this little pot with a pink geranium in it just makes me think of flower pots with pink geraniums lined up on a windowsill in, France somewhere. And something about that. I just love that little pot of geraniums. And the back corner is a little bit overgrown. And this giant thing is a Turk's cap, and I think it's really pretty, but it's not my favorite plant, the red one. And so I may trim that back so you can see my back in the back, my native wax myrtle. The Turk's cap is also native, and I've got some coral ones over there, but I really would like to see my little tree that I bought. And the pots are still looking good. And the wonderful ivy geranium still holding its own. I kind of thought it might be sort of fading by now, but it's still blooming, and I am fertilizing it once a week with a liquid seaweed fertilizer. You can hear the kiddos playing in the pool next door. Now I've taken out, except for 2 foxgloves, I have taken out the foxgloves here and put in some more of that Gulf Coast penstemon. And so I think this is the right amount of light back here. And so I'm hoping that will take off. And then look at the inland sea oats. So beautiful. I love that grass. And it will be beautiful, until January, and I'll cut it back. It's a great grass, and it grows in the shade. Here's Cousin It, looking fantastic. Oh, like fireworks. And I really like it with that monarda behind it. And then, of course, I left it. I was going out of town, and I thought, well, I'm not going to cut these orange flowers off and put them in the house because I'm going to be gone. And so I left them, and they're just like, why doesn't this come in pink? It doesn't. It's sort of red, orange, and yellow. But, oh, Crocosmia, it's just a stunner, and so I left it. I do love orange. It's just not the color scheme. Here's another one. If I'm looking, these goofy cleums, I just, I'm kind of thinking about pulling them out so that I'll have a better look at the shorter things in the rows back in here. And so, but it does look nice to finally have all those bluebonnets. I was kind of done with looking at those bluebonnets a month ago, but I wanted the seed to ripen. And so I went ahead, I got lots of seed already, and I went ahead and pulled them up. And it is sort of a relief to have a cleaner space. I did leave one bluebonnet, shockingly still looks nice. And, I'm gonna smack a mosquito. Bad mosquito. Got you. One bluebonnet still looks nice. It's still, I don't know why. The rest of them were yellow and terrible. And this one still looks really pretty, covered with flowers. And then there were a couple of larkspur, a pink one and a purple one that their seeds haven't ripened yet. And so I'm leaving them in the gravel for now. And of course the Lancely Coreopsis looks fantastic. And this is that native milkweed. I just love. It's so pretty. And it's got big old seed pods on it. I have another one in the other part of the garden that's got seed pods. This is a cultivar, but Lancely Coreopsis is also native to Texas. And then, okay, here's another volunteer tomato. Look at this nonsense. I just decided to embrace it. Look at this. You could see the tomatoes on it. And I'm pinning it up here, and then I got little fences, my little metal fences that I use, and you can see more here. And I just started training it across. I mean, why not, right? It's crazy. They look great. They look great. I'm still eagerly awaiting the false indigo. It doesn't show any signs of blooming, and it really only had one sad flower last year. But I'm glad I cut it back, and I have twice as many stalks as I had last year. And then, the purple hyacinth bean vine. Look how pretty. The hummingbirds really like this. and the pods are super fun. And then up popped my little native passion vine down there that I thought was dead, and it popped up somewhere else in the yard too, so I'm real thrilled about that. And then let me walk you back. I'm having so much fun growing vegetables in this garden. So first of all, I love this arrowwood viburnum, which is will have great berries for the birds, but it's a really pretty flower and it's a pretty bush. I'm happy with that. It doesn't finish well because the brown, you kind of got to knock the brown off. It stays on there unless you sort of shake it, knock the spent flowers off. But again, this is a volunteer tomato. Gigantic. I just embraced it. I put a support around it, but you can see, I mean, it's just nuts. And then this is all got some basil down here. And then here's my cantaloupe. I didn't, again, this is a theme now. I should have chosen one, thrown the other one out. But I've got two, so I'm training one into the fuller sun there and training the other one down the walk. And then I've got peppers and another zucchini all down here. So this is fabulous sun this direction. And so I'm super excited about poking vegetables in here and there. And then I've got more zucchini back here, and then I'll give a tour of the front yard. It's starting to look really pretty. It's a little bit hodgepodgey this year, but I have a lot of new plants, and so I put a lot of sort of zinnias and random things in there to sort of fill it in. But it doesn't have it's not a clean look to it yet as far as a design. And then of course, I'll stop by these. I do love this little fleece flower. Isn't that beautiful? Look how pretty. And I love the leaves. I would recommend that. I would absolutely recommend that, to grow that. Well, y'all, thanks for taking a look. I hope you enjoyed looking at my garden. I can't wait to hear about what you guys are doing. And I love all your sweet comments and all your ideas, and when I ask questions and you answer my questions. I always appreciate it so much. Y'all have a great week. Bye-bye.